Hello and welcome back to another Math with Miss V video. In this one we will be looking at simplifying algebraic expressions, or as you've maybe heard it called, combining like terms. So in this video we will apply properties of operations as strategies to simplify linear expressions with rational coefficients. So first let's look at a simple expression. Okay, and define a couple of its parts. The first part we want to look at is a term. A term is a number, variable, or the product or quotient of numbers and variables. Terms are separated by addition or subtraction. So in this expression, we have three terms. The term 2a, the term 6, and the term 4a. Our next is like terms, and like terms contain the same variables raised to the same powers. So in this case, we have two like terms, that is our 2a and our 4a, because they both contain an a. And while we are not looking at variables with exponents, both of these a's have an exponent of 1. Our next vocabulary word is a coefficient, and the coefficient is a numerical factor of a term. So the coefficient is the number portion of any of your terms that have variables. And the last word we need to know is a constant, and a constant is a term that does not contain a variable, only a number. So let's look at some examples and how we would simplify them by combining things that are similar. So in this example, we have negative 2x plus 3 plus 5x minus 6. So the first thing that you need to do is notate what is the same. So the first part I want to pull out is that I have terms with x's. I have a negative 2x and I have a positive 5x. I'm going to rewrite them together. And to make things easier on myself, I like to list the positives first. So 5x minus 2x. This will make things easier later on. The other part I now want to pay attention to are my constants. So in this case, I have plus 3 and a minus 7. Now that my like terms are grouped, I'm going to combine them. So 5x minus 2x's leaves us with a 3x. And then we have 3 minus 7. 7's greater than 3, so I'm going to use my additive inverse or change my subtraction to addition, and my positive 7 to a negative. 3 plus negative 7, I have different signs. That tells me to subtract. 7 minus 3 is 4, and I have more negatives, so the answer to this is a minus 4. So 3x minus 4 is my final and complete answer. Let's go on to look at another example. Our next example is 12 plus 3m minus 6m plus 15. I want to do the same thing and group like terms together. So I have a 12. When there's nothing in front, it's a positive. So 12, with the 12, I'm going to put a plus 15. Then the next thing I want to group are my m's. So I have a plus 3m and a minus 6m. Okay, now we can combine. So 12 plus 15 is 27. Positive 3m minus 6m. We can't take 6 away from 3, so we're going to use our additive inverse. So different signs. I now have a positive and a negative. That tells me to subtract. 6 minus 3 is a 3m. I have more negatives, so this is a minus 3m. Okay, So this is a good answer, 27 minus 3m, but my best answer puts the term with the variable first. So this subtract will become a negative, and the 27 is positive, so we will have a plus 27. So 27 minus 3m is a very good answer. Our better answer is negative 3m plus 27. Okay, let's go on to our next example. So in this case, we have 3 times 2b minus 4 plus 6b. So before we can start combining, we have to get rid of these parentheses. And in the previous video, we talked about the distributive property, and we can use that to get rid of our parentheses. So I'm going to distribute the 3 to the 2b and to this minus 4. So 3 times 2b is 6b. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. And I'm going to bring down my 6b. Okay, let's notate what's similar. I have a 6b and a 6b. They're both positive, so 6b plus 6b. This 12 doesn't have anything to go with it, but we still include it. So now to get my final answer, 6b plus 6b gives us 12b, and the 12 doesn't have anything to combine with, so we end up with minus 12. Now in a future video, there is another way to change this to have a different type of answer through factoring, and we will discuss this problem again later in the factoring video, but we can simplify this further. Let's go on to our next example. Okay, our next example is 1/3 9w plus 12 plus 8 plus negative 3w, or minus 3w. So again, we want to start with distribution. So we have a 1/3 times 9w. And a good way to think about multiplying fractions and whole numbers is to think about what you would really do. So we would put this 9 over 1 and then multiply numerators. So 9 times 1 is the first step. And then every fraction is a division problem, so we'd end up dividing by 3. So 9 times 1 is 9, divided by 3 would give us 3w. So the same thing, 12 times 1 divided by 3. 12 times 1 is 12, divided by 3 is 4. So plus 4 plus 8 minus 3w. Okay, let's notate what needs to be combined. 3w and a negative 3w. And then we have plus 4 and plus 8. So 3w minus 3w leaves us with 0 w's. And even though we don't know what w is, any number or variable times 0 is 0. So these simply have canceled each other out. They are no longer there. So we have 4 plus 8 is 12, and 12 is our final answer. Thank you for joining me on this Math with Miss V video. I hope it has helped you simplify expressions. Have a good day.